you've got a oh, wrong one.
So that's the job there.
So we've got a job. So you've been out, you've done the job, you've taken your photos, you've come back home.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we've got. That screen. With that, we've confirmed that we're doing the job.
So so I will wait for Jamie, shall we?
Yeah, Jamie.
Back.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
That's quite a while. So okay, so you've had a bruise around the calendar. Should be self-explanatory, really. The only real gotchas and there's sort of things I'm working on. You don't see the jobs for like the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of August. I can make that probably. It just means that perhaps that shows you what's in the view rather than because a lot of this built bits I've written but I make use of components because there's no point in writing a calendar control when there's billions of them out there. So that one shows you 3 tasks in the month. If I extend that to show what's on the 3rd after, there we go. Messed it up now, and I messed up your. I'm back in June. So most of it is just when you get home you can.
And at the top, obviously, you've got the same
around.
thing. Yours will be slightly different, but you'll have your invoicing and all the rest of it tab at the top there, so you can look at your invoices, etc., and mark all one's paid. The mark off paid at the top as well, won't it? For them?
On their own invoices.
Yeah.
I think that's just when you mark them as paid.
Oh right, it comes up and marks them as paid.
So what happens when you mark their Clark invoices as paid, it sends them a remittance advice email saying these are the jobs that have been. These are your invoices that have been paid for, which you can obviously then reconcile with your bank, but it'll mark them as paid in there, and it'll go. I don't know if you need to decide if you're going to get Xero to take over some of those functions of supplier invoices and things, because this will sync with that. And I'm working on the assumption that you'll send your remittance out to suppliers via this, and then do the bank reconciliation.
Well, your system will do the invoice, won't it? So
yes,
generate the invoice as it does before.
So that's it.
29th is
Got
the
a
one.
lot there on the mouse. So that's the 29th. That's the one we did, wasn't it? Is it 29th in the past or that's in the future?
In the future, there it is.
What I'll do.
So that number there that I said was the job number is the one then that opens up wonderful things.
I'm going to change before you start. I'll change this to the past because that'll be more reflective of what it. Because what happens is you've got two edit views of a job when you go into it. You've got the thing that's to build the report, which you're used to calling iron or something. You've got that view, and you've got the general where is it, really in-depth information. If you're in admin view, you've got the billing and all that side of things. And the system works out which one you'd most likely go to. So if you click on ones that are in the future, it presumes that you're not building the report yet. If you're doing ones that are confirmed and today or yesterday, then it thinks that you want to go straight into the report process. So that's why I'm just going to change the date on the demo one. What's the date today? 23rd, isn't it? Mm-hmm. 23rd. The same morning. So it's happened. Back. Today's the 23rd, isn't it? So when you click on...
you now see all the little confirmed, post visit sent, reports sent. Yeah. They're all there as well.
Yeah, so the idea is when you land on this page, you read from left to right. So you want to basically check the details first, just make sure that's all correct. If the tenant information wasn't there, you won't be able to send it for approval. So you need to put that in. I'll put myself in now, but that should have been hopefully put there when the
agents will do that anyway.
Right, okay. Sometimes they don't, though.
No, not always, but most of the time.
So, some of the custom staff are now putting it up underneath the actual property
on checkouts,
and not into the actual tenant.
But I think they are doing it on the inventories. They're filling out the tenant information on the inventory.
The button coming up is white when they're not putting the tenant details in now.
But I think you'll find that's checkouts. because they don't use our portal to send the check out to the tenant. They download it, attach it to their email with their comments. E.g., you've lost all your deposit.
Yeah.
So you basically read through it, change any information you need to. Previous task is it tries to chain together jobs. So if you do an inventory today and then next week you do a checkout, it should preserve this happened, then this one happened, and then that later on, further down the line, it will enable you to roll lots of stuff forward. So that, you do a new inventory or an update, and it just brings everything from the checkouts and that together into.
So we won't have to take the checkout text into the update.
Yeah,
that will automatically create the inventory.
Right.
Yeah, in there you need to get some stuff loaded on before that starts to really take effect. But that's something.
That's the future.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so you do that. Your next step is to fill out the forms. If you want to, there's a mobile app which you can download the forms before you go out. So if you're in a backwater somewhere with no internet access, you can download stuff to your mobile phone, and then you can, you can fill this stuff out there, or you can write it down, script, whatever you're doing at the moment, and then come back and fill it out in the system. It's completely up to you. Maybe do this. What do you normally do? Do you normally dictate the whole lot into the text file and then copy the bits out of the text file and put them into the forms when you get back? Is that more than that? Is that accurate?
Well, we have the form fields, don't we?
Yeah.
That we fill out.
Don't we do that when we get back?
And we do that when
but
we
you
get
do
back.
that at home. So,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe to start with, do it this way. If it will save you time to be out on site and typing in things as you're going around the property, you can do that as well. What I wouldn't suggest is doing some of it at home and some of it out on site, because you might end up overwriting one with the other. But let's get going first, I think. So you've got your post visit report, general details, which is all that past visit report, or the general cleaning, that type of thing.
You don't need that obviously for an inventory, do you? Only for checkouts.
Yeah, I can take that off of that.
We don't need that for inventory.
What, for the past visit?
Yeah, because on the checkout out, you say
so that field's only relevant for
inventory for checkouts. It's not relevant for check-ins.
Past. For check-in or check-out?
Checkouts. It's only relevant. Past history is only relevant for checkout.
Okay. Serial numbers and things like that should roll forward, so you fill it out this time. Next time you go to the property,
do at the moment. The first time we're obviously going to have to put them in.
Any fields can be set to do that. So if there's any that doesn't, that should do, let me know and I can make it do it. There's a key section which gives you up to several keys, up to 8 keys. If you don't key in information about the keys, it doesn't come out. It's not like it comes out with key 1 to 8 with all blanks in it. It just puts in the ones that we've done. And then there's the appliance list. And the way the forms work is you just, we click in, so keys handed to, I'm just going to put agent, and were there any health and safety issues? No. Furniture? No.
So if we clicked yes on that health and safety,
what would that look like?
You say yes. You just have to write them in the comments. This isn't an HHSRS thing. There is that if you want to do that with all that category 1, but you don't do that.
No, we'll just put yes, and then we'll put in there,
in the comments,
carpet torn to staircase or something like that.
So there we go. Whoops. So line codes, almost every single property has that in it. Maintenance report, it's broken, something like that, whatever. Extra charges, anything like that. Your smoke detector tests at the bottom.
This is duplicated as well.
Test. I don't think that's duplicated. I think you've got more information if you've done if you're on one of the other pages. But,
CO alarm.
Heat detector. You just press save at the bottom and it saves it, and then you go over to the next tab and fill it all out.
So that's where we've got. That's really all to do with
location.
The top bit. Go to the top. Slow down a second so they can have a look. At the top. So previous carried out. We don't plus inventory.
So I can get rid of that.
That would be gone.
Yeah, in advance of.
General condition as normal.
If you tab in these boxes, by the way, it puts in a tab rather than tabs onto the next box.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was done on request of someone who couldn't quite get the tabs in, but I personally find it irritating to always pressing tab tab. But it's the only place it does it on the on this one. It should just tab onto the next one. But those big text boxes, it's so you can have some extra, more style.
So general condition, general cleaning. So that's where we can put in our. Cleans professional standard, except for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Any further cleaning
Can I
required?
just ask Dave on this? So if any further cleaning required, and we say yes, full professional clean, can we highlight that in red or not?
You can. There's a facility that can decorate different boxes based on what you've put in there. You just need to feed them to me. So you want.
Well, currently what we do, so if there's something that we are pointing out, because obviously our agents don't like reading what we give them, so if we highlight, so where it needs a full professional clean, we would highlight it in red.
Yes, you could either have further cleaning required, and then that's just like, it's a bit grubby and the tenant just needs to make sure they get Henry out before they leave, or the Hoover, that is. Henry Hoover. But then if you had a box that says professional cleaning required, and that's just a tick, and then you could have that with a big,
but could you have
red line.
Could you have on those just fill them out normally, and then underneath it a tick box, and if you tick the box, then whatever you've written would appear in red.
In effect, yeah. I mean,
that's what.
It's the same with the carpet. The same as like maintenance issues. If there's a maintenance, we highlight it in red. It's only because they are lazy and they don't read what we send them.
Yeah,
and they were the ones that asked us.
So there's something about the professional. So,
well, any of those, all of those, right?
Yeah, should have a tick box.
Should have a tick box, so we can highlight it in red if we want to.
And that's on all of the.
Yeah.
All those general. What's the heading there?
General cleaning.
So
general cleaning.
Further cleaning would have a tick box. Carpets would have a tick box.
Yeah. Carpet stain to bedroom would have a tick box to point it out.
Yeah. All of those really need.
Okay, and
if we shut the door, it might be totally effective. Seems to work better.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
When we go outside, it's going to hit us in the face.
Yeah, I was driving along in a car and it said 34 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that sounds warm, isn't it? And then you step out of the car and go, oh, it is warm. Right. So I'm just going to stick any old blurb in this, but when you hit save, you can hit save as many times. There's all your other bits and bits. I won't bother filling all of that out.
But you've got all the gas readings. This is where it duplicates it, isn't it?
But it's not there twice. It's only on one. So that's all about that stuff down there is locations. So where is it?
Oh yeah.
And the meter readings are.
Yes, the serial numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's location. To meter locate, you're correct. Actually, I think we've got a duplicate there, haven't we?
Yeah, because it does have location on the sheet behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a duplicate.
Good point. I haven't noticed that before.
Noticed a couple of times actually. I thought, oh.
Duplicated locations on meter. Do we move it? Do we delete it from one, move it to the other, or do we? Which one makes more type location?
Well, it's just in that first. Where is it at the moment?
These are all
after meter readings. Normally that's where they
appear.
Have it
on that stage. Yeah, that makes more sense.
They normally appear after the meter readings.
Yeah. Okay. Because all of the forms, everyone's forms are slightly, every different company that's using it got slightly different forms and bits and pieces. That's why these aren't. There's a good thing about it; they're not set in stone. Bad thing about it is they're not set in stone.
Yeah, because everybody has their own thing.
Makes work for me. Yeah. So yeah, to do that, you've got your keys. I'm just going to put whoops. A door key. Description. Yeah, if you like, 2 of, etc. Just leave that like that. So yeah, you fill that out as you would now. There's no real difference there, is there? And you've got your appliance list.
And gas and electrical certificates, yes or no.
Yeah, so yes or no. And you've got, fridge, freezer, make, the SMEG. That is the funniest make of fridge. Is a manual present. You've got yes, you've got no, and you've got now missing. So,
but now missing would only be relevant for checkout.
Yeah. So if you put now, and this form will.
Actually, that's a good idea, though. Yeah.
So this form will push forward as well. So if you fill it out once, every job every job type going forward, it will push it onto the next, the next one. Which means obviously then if you go into now missing, on those things, and then now missing will go red. So when they print it out, it'll be big red one to highlight that.
So what if it's reappeared? You would change that from a now missing to a yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in many ways, if it's now missing, then if they come back,
on checking,
and it hasn't reappeared, maybe it is just missing again. I don't
it's
know.
Probably just tucked away in a box somewhere.
Yeah. So check if it's an inventory. If there's no manual, then we just put no.
No. Yeah.
The only time we've used now missing is at checkout.
Yeah, which there isn't a particular box for that, is there?
No.
At the moment, so.
And you can fill out the rest of these, and you've got some space there to put in anything that
boiler
isn't covered.
Yeah.
In there. And again, if you don't fill those out, they shouldn't come out on. The reason why I say they shouldn't is because they didn't when I tested it, and if I've broken it since, So then, save on that, and once you fill
that then completes, doesn't it? So
once you
pretty
fill
much
out
your form fields. So what we used to do in form fields.
Mm-hmm.
That first list there across there under forms is basically inputting all that information that we would normally have put into manuals, meters, keys, fire alarms, all of that stuff that we would normally put in. That's in that first section under forms.
And they're separated into tabs because each tab represents a form, and each form may or may not be applicable to a job type. So rather than have one big page with just bits missing and having to maintain that, it's just individual forms. And also, if you're on the mobile app, you don't want too big a form to be scrolling through on a little phone. So when you go onto the app thing, you've got like 5 big buttons to choose the form you want. So that's why it's kind of, you might think, it's just easy to have one big form. But anyway, so once you've done that bit, then you're in a position to send the post-visit report notification, which we have had quite a lot of conversation about what to call it. It basically, the email to say you've been to the job.
Yeah, right? We've done it. We've been.
Okay.
But we've been doesn't sound right, does it? We've done.
Yeah. So it's just called send notification, which I was very sure that when you put your mouse over it actually said something, but it doesn't. So that perhaps should say something. But basically, you click that button and it sends an email off to the agent and says we carried out an inventory report, and it embeds the post-visit report form, and I believe it does the meterings as well.
Yeah, it does meter readings and all the rest of it.
Yeah, if you want to see that before you send it, you tick this little box here and you press the button. If you've not filled out any of the forms that you're supposed to, it will tell you and say this form's got missing values, blah blah blah. But it's just going to pop up, and you can just double check who it's going to, and if you want, you could actually change the values in those boxes. It all depends if you want that to pop up by default. Or
can you do that by default? Because I would check mine before it goes.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think we originally wanted an option, didn't we, where you just didn't have.
No, if everybody wanted to pop up, then
really, if you don't want it to pop up, then you could just untick it. Because what I'll do is I'll make that tick box tick by default.
If you untick it, then they won't pop up.
Yeah.
But by default, they'll pop up. So if you scroll down now, you can see that it's got keys handed to, meter readings.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same as what we do at the moment.
Yeah. And sometimes I go backwards and forwards between the form fields, you see, and the report. So
Yes,
what I'm going to do is half fill it out and then send a notification.
So that's
Yeah,
the same as
and then
clicking
this
our
half of it out.
purple done the visit box
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, so you
that's the
don't
same as
have to
that.
fill out all the forms. You just have to fill out the forms required for the. So the post visit report, the meter readings.
Yeah.
They're the only ones you have to fill out before you press that notification button.
Right.
And if you don't fill out those two, it will tell you. It will say you've not filled out these forms. So again, it's a new process. It's going to be painful at first, but once you get the habit, it should try and help you. You know, if you've made an oversight, you think you've done the keys, but actually kettle exploded and you have to go off and come back and you press the button.
Yeah, see, sometimes I can't do the keys and then go back into the report and then check my form that I've done out on site and then find that I've actually missed a key off that I haven't put into the form field.
Yeah, so. and you can send this notification again if you like. You can always come back to this page and say, because this pops up, you can quite happily sort of go in there and just start typing and just say, first one was in error, I missed something, and that will just be inside the body of the email.
Okay.
So it's
I don't want to tell them I've missed something.
No, of course not. Just say that.
They'll think she's a complete idiot.
Updated.
Just blame the system. That's what you want to do. Especially you get away with that for about 3 months. You just blame everything on the system.
Okay.
You'll be fine. This link here, post visit files. If you were doing HHSRS. You would have filled out that stuff, and with this post-visit report will be a PDF of the HHSRS or anything else. Okay. That link won't do anything if you've not done anything that's applicable. So if you click that and nothing happens, it's because there's nothing to happen. Once you've done that, you just press send message. It'll ask if you're sure, and we all are sure, and it'll just do this and say it's been done. So cancel, closes window. So that's that bit. If I was to come out and come back here, you should see now it says, you see where it's got a little tick box on the calendar that says post visit report sent?
Yeah.
So if I forget if I've done that or not, that little indicator there will tell me. So back to this. So we're back where we were. We were on forms.
So we've done forms, yeah.
So the next bit is the text file, which is the scary bit, right?
Report items is like going into iron.
Okay.
Really?
The reason why that's called report items is because in the way the iron system works is it has a text file, which it stores as a text file, and then when you generate a report, it basically reads that text file and uses it to make the report, and it just uses it as text. What this system does is every item in the house is stored as a record in a database. That's basically saying this is an item with this reference number, and it's in this section of the it's in this room in this section of the house, or something like that. And because the way that does that, it means that later on you can do things like summaries where you can pull out everything that matches a certain value, and so it's more advanced. But that's why it's called report items, because it's supposed to be an item in the report.
Right.
Probably not the best name. Again, if you can think of anything that makes more sense, and it's just, again, once you know it's there, it's there. But so the best thing to do is just to paste. I mean, you can upload a text file, but it only recognises text files, not rich text ones like Word.
I only ever download mine down into text files anyway, not rich.
So the best thing to do is just to paste it in. Just literally copy and paste from whatever file you've got it in, and just paste it in there and press the check text button. Yeah. And then what that will do is
if you go to the Word file down the bottom there.
Yeah, it will save it and then allow you to continue. Do any of the funny nuances you've got, like replacing LED in lowercase with LED in uppercase, and trying to recognise any headers that aren't in the right format. Before I go into your file, I'll just show this thing I've got over here. So 1 second.
Also down the bottom, you see you've got remove numbering and replace and things like that. So if we're doing an update, and you've already got the numbering in, it will, like the old like Very Smart, it will take the old numbers out and put the new numbers in.
I didn't know it did that either. I take the numbers out. We sit and take all the blooming numbers out.
You have to take them out.
Oh.
Go to text file. Just to get rid of them.
So
there's one reason why it takes me so long.
Me too.
The only time I have to do that is when some of the reports have ended up with double numbering.
I have noticed that on some
And
of
if
the
there's some
reports.
that double numbered, then you've got to just sit there and manually take every set of numbers out.
Yeah,
There's no other way around it.
obviously do
But if it's just one set of numbers, it'll do it.
Okay.
For this one anyway.
Right. So this is and I'll send you this because this is like a manual. So this is how the text file's supposed to look. Basically, you start off with I put a section, so the garden, outside, front, hallway, that type of thing, and that's all in capitals, and that's how it recognises that it's a header, if you like, in old money. So you would have that. What is the section, and then what's the item, for instance. So garden, front garden, going down here, look, front door and entrance hall, door, ceiling, lights, and so as you go through the file, when the system encounters sort of that type of break, so in other words, a capital line followed by another capital line, it presumes that the section's changed, and then you're in a new part of the house, as it were, and you effectively just type in a description. As these things are, there's no numbers at this point, so it's presuming it's a brand new inventory, and then you place the key.
Obviously, our downloaded text won't have capitals front garden on it.
No.
But it will recognise the word front garden.
Yeah. So
automatically.
Yeah. So you don't have to do that because it's come out of Dragon, but the system has a vocabulary of headers. So when you paste it in, when you press that check text button, it will do all of. Hopefully, you'll paste in what came out of Dragon. When you press text, check text, you'll get a file that looks like this ideal example of what it has to look like. So the system should clean it up for you. And see, you're already scared.
It's no different to
what it does clean it up for us.
So yeah, just follow. I mean, but the thing is, once
on Sunday.
what will sometimes happen is that once you've done check text and you press process text, it will spit errors at you, and if you know that this is how it's supposed to look, it will help you find those errors with the messages. What it normally, you've got a few things that cause it to throw wobs. If you've got, say, a duplicate header, for instance, it will do some weird things because it will, although you could have the same header twice following through, all the images will be bundled with the last one rather because the images are pulled out separately. So
I did one where I had
like
two internal hallways.
Okay.
Okay. And I just had internal hallway and then further down internal hallway.
Right.
That threw it into apoplexy. But as soon as you said it internal hallway 1 and internal hallway 2,
Yeah.
it was fine.
yeah.
So if, for example, some people call some rooms something different, you were saying about the vocabulary.
Yeah.
So if I called something different, or it was a weird room, if it was in capitals, would it recognise that it was a room?
Yes. So and there's a way of teaching it that as it comes out, which will be evident as we go through a demo. So yeah, but good point. So you got your description, and then at the end of it, so you have the condition in brackets, like that. And then you would go on to the next line, and then you would do, describe something new with the condition. So you were saying with that one that you used to put multiple brackets or something, right? Or
If we were doing like a cupboard,
mm-hmm.
then rather than having walls, a new line, floor, new lines, frames, new line, it would all be in one paragraph.
Okay, so now you have to separate it. Like
right, so what we're saying is you either keep it as one paragraph, but you only put the condition at the end, in brackets. You can't put the condition in amongst the text.
Yes, okay.
Otherwise it goes whack.
Oh, yeah, but or you could do a new line.
Yeah, or you could do a new line.
Yeah.
So you can do description, condition, new line, description.
And then it gives
condition,
everything a new number as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you have lots more numbers.
It's much more readable like that as well, I think. So.
Okay, so what Emma does with her.
So you can separate it and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it numbers.
Means there'll be more lines.
Yeah.
If there's many numbers, numbers are they're item references, so they're real things, if you know what I mean, rather than just a sort of number that's sort of printed in a list. And so when you get to the end of the line, if you're adding in things like fair wear and tear and tenant responsibility and all that type of thing. There's a little syntax. You can type tenant responsibility, if that appears anywhere, or landlord, if that appears anywhere, it will pick it up. There's also little shortcuts like FWT and things like that, which you may not.
Well, we're dictating anyway, so it's not really relevant, is it?
Yeah, I think this comes from Emma's one with India, where they have like a shorthand where they just sort of.
Emma still gets all that stuff typed up in India, doesn't she?
Yes, yeah. And
they don't use Dragon.
Scott does as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Scott has.
I used to do that. But then I used to do that.
Oh my God.
But they got a lot of things wrong, you know.
I was going to say, it's a little bit out of control.
Yeah,
still got
Someone
check
else
it.
is doing it.
Yeah.
So you might as well let Dragon do it, you still got to check it through.
Cream and green and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
I get them.
The usual ones.
My Dragon does that anyway, so.
Yeah.
Scott uses India for inventories, but checkouts uses a British typist lady because you know she's learned when he's being stupid and when he means something different than what he says, whereas the Indians do exactly what they're prescribed and still sometimes get it wrong. So, but yeah. So is there anything else in here at the end of the line? Short carriage return, blah blah blah. Reports. This is probably new stuff. Yeah, okay. So if you're, and again, I'll send you this. But if your report follows on from something previous, so in other words, it's already got numbers in it. The number format is the number followed by a comma, and then whatever the.
So not a full stop.
Is it not a full stop? Is it a comma or is it a full stop? It's a comma,
Should be
isn't
a full
it?
stop.
Should be a full stop. That's what I normally do.
I can't remember what we agreed in the end.
It's one of the two. we'll find out when we press the button and it either goes. My document might be out of date, or that might be what we decided on. Maybe it's a full stop, maybe it's a comma. But I'll come.
What do you normally say?
I do checkouts. I do comma.
Yeah.
Do you?
But when I'm doing an inventory, I don't put numbers on it.
No.
I don't put. I just new line and start talking.
Okay.
So
it's only when you put in numbers in for a checkout that you say the number.
Yeah, I know.
I say number.
That's
and
where
then
the
full
number
stop.
is.
Yeah, I do comma.
I
Not really right.
So I'll qualify the exact placeholder later, but I think I've got.
But it's only for checkouts, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think the system when you do check text actually does a replace on that as well. But anyway, so when you're using the original numbers, it's like 1 comma. The system will know for the certain types of reports it needs to use those numbers, and it will, in the reference number box, it will use the number that you've put in there. If you have got extra stuff and you just leave that number blank, it will give it a number starting at 9,000. So you know, and then there'll be a note on a template to say any numbers prefixed with 90 were not on the original inventory.
What we came across was an issue where we were doing a checkout report, and there was now an additional chair in the living room.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't have a number on the inventory. So
had it on the sort of the last.
So at the moment, right at the end of that room, we go now in living room 1 additional brown wooden armchair.
Yeah.
Which the system didn't like.
So in this one, you just do a carriage return, and it will be a line item without a number, and then it will give it its own number. But what it was doing, when Mark found the sort of the issue, as it were, it was giving it a number that was just in sequence with what it already had. So it was a unique number to that report, but that might have technically been a number referring to the other
something
report.
else within the report.
So by shifting it up, you won't hopefully. Well, if you do go to a property where there's 9,000 items.
So he basically puts a report item number 9,000, and there's a little disclaimer saying anything numbered 9,000 above are additional items now found within the property.
But they'll be in as you read through the file, they'll be in amongst where you've decided to put them, but they'll be at the end of the. It should be one because it should be numerical. If you're in the kitchen and there's a load of new stuff in the kitchen, it should be item 1, item 5, item 6, item 9001, 9002, and they'll be at the end. So that's how it.
And you can add as many lines as you want if it's however.
Loads of stuff left in the kitchen. You just 9001 and then
remove
it up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1010.
Okay.
So yeah. So I might as well leave that because this is all about processing options. You'll see all these little boxes. Generally, they should tick themselves or untick themselves. You shouldn't have to touch them unless you get into trouble. So I'll send you that file. Let's go back to this one. Share screen. Right. I've closed it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think I closed it. I closed it when I said stop sharing. I think it killed the actual display. Yeah. So yeah, so we're on report items. It's ready for our text file. Grab the text file from Word.
So this is an update, so it's got the numbers in.
Okay.
Is your update an update there?
That's an update.
So it's an update because it's got original numbers, but updates will remove those numbers, won't they? Because you'll get new ones. So
we don't have to remove those numbers then?
No.
Yeah, so you should. If I go Control A, Control C.
Save me so much time.
Yeah, I've done it too.
And if we go to here, if we don't have to check the box down the bottom.
Whatever numbers come out.
To remove existing numbering or whatever.
Yeah, so it should be by default. So if I've just pasted that effectively from Dragon just straight into there, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got all those numbers in it. The first thing I do is press check text. Check text won't touch the report. It will check the text and save the text. So that's the idea. It's almost like your save button. If you're still fiddling with it, you press check text every time, and it will clean up, save, and blah blah blah. So I'll press this. Cross my fingers. Yeah, it is a comma, by the way. A comma is what you need. And what this has done is it's actually formatted it as it. So now it looks like that document.
So even if I'd put full stops, it would change it to commas anyway.
If they're those those fancy curly braces things, it will do it. But it won't. I don't think it does it. So if I do this, for instance, one dot. No, it doesn't. If you've got those curly braces that comes out of your old system, then it will get rid of those because it's detected stop curly braces as being something you don't want and replaced it with a comma. But you wouldn't want it to replace the full stop because you've got full stops in your sentences, and it'd have and also what you might want to do. So if you had one light walk, you might have one light. So you might have a reason to have a number followed by a full stop within the description somewhere. So you wouldn't want that necessarily.
Extension leads or
getting rid
They
of.
wouldn't know which one to use.
Oh really?
Do you use numeral numbers, or do you use because Jonathan always said to me, I'll just use numeral, don't put 2 TWO.
I always use numerals.
Yeah.
I always use numerals.
Yeah.
I think that's just what people.
Yeah.
I have no strong feelings about it either way. I don't think
I'm bollocking about it. Do we use words? I'm not real English.
If when you press your check text for some reason it hadn't recognised the ceiling,
so it was still lowercase.
Yeah, so it was still like that, and then the system would be like, oh, I don't like this. You just, got to be careful here, right? Because I've got an extra space. No, I haven't got extra space. So you just highlight it with your mouse, and just press that where it says convert to title.
Oh, okay.
And that will do that. Okay. So that's how you teach it. Because, say, if you've got some new thing you've described this morning,
would that apply to, say, the word hallway as a room?
Literally anything.
It appeared in lowercase.
Yeah, anything. So when you press check text the first time, it's basically looking at all the words in your file and going, are any of these in my dictionary? And if it finds them, it will put them in uppercase and clean it all up. When you then press process text, any new things not already in its dictionary will then add to its dictionary.
Oh right.
So it will learn over time, effectively. So
if you actually go down to the hallway cupboard on this one, just keep going down. See, I've done that now as just one, but you see the problem there is that I left this in to show the
Here's one I did earlier.
Right. So you can see cupboard 1.
The brackets are in between.
You've got brackets in the middle there. Yeah. Right. So, and that will throw it into.
It won't like that.
It won't like that.
Yeah, I do all sorts of weird stuff with that. Do you want me to see what sort of weird stuff it does? Right.
Yeah, because I'm bound to do that.
But what you should, this is where you can edit it.
Okay.
So now in here, we can go, right, okay, we want to take that bit, those brackets out, that bit of text out of there, and we can just Control Exit, move, and then Control V, and put it back
in. But you're not going to know that it's been sort of thrown into disarray, are you, until you actually generate the report?
Yeah, so
you have to go back again.
The next stage below this, it then shows you what it will look like.
Right.
Yeah, so you go over this and you go, yeah, this is all nice, blah, blah, blah. Right? And you've completely missed that error you've made. So you press process text. And that's when you're going to process the text to turn the text into report items.
Right.
That's the theory behind it. You press process.
And we ring you and go, I've done it wrong.
And have a think. If you've already processed it and there are report items, it will give you a warning saying doing this again will overwrite anything you've already got. But the only reason why that's there is because you can edit the things in the line, in line, the report items themselves.
Right.
But in, I think, pretty much all cases, you want to edit the text and then press the process button. This is a big one, right?
No, there's not much text there. It's one bed flat.
Well, it's giving my system a headache. Is that because of that? Might be because of
those brackets.
Yeah. What are we doing? Oh. We didn't tick our tick things aren't ticked like the right way either, are they?
See down the bottom there, remove and restart numbering, but it's already done that, hasn't it? Right.
So it has accepted your bad formatting.
But it would have thrown it. So now you've got hallway, and these are all the proper numbers. Look.
Okay.
Yeah. But what we didn't have the remove and restart numbering thing ticked, which
so it's got your old numbers in there still as well.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But that should be ticked by default, that shouldn't it?
Mm. Because we do more updates than we do new inventories, don't we?
Is this an update then? Is this an update?
Yeah. Because it's got the numbers already in it.
Okay. So I will make a note for that because what you want is it to tick that by default, so you don't have to worry about pressing anything. So I need to make a note.
But now, to this stage, and you have made a balls up, you can go back.
Oh yeah.
There's no.
I hope so.
Just checking.
Remove and restart. Numbering.
Your phone's going to be red hot that way.
Oh, I'm going on holiday.
Not mine.
We're on the help desk. The help desk is there for. It's going to be fun.
But you can see now that it's looking very much. The sample inventory that I showed you with the columns. We're now into columns, and it's created the columns.
Okay.
So you've got the description, and then you've got the condition.
Yeah.
And if you've done it right, there shouldn't be those numbers in the description box.
Yeah.
That's right. So I'm going to. If I put
this, just go down to the cupboard.
So
is it built-in cupboard one?
So this one, is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, that's been done as one whole.
Yeah, so it's taken it as one item.
Look.
Okay. So it's effectively taken out the issues from the built-in cupboard and put it into the actual.
Yeah, go to the top.
So
the first cupboard. So I think that's where the problem's going to be. No, down. No, up.
Same line, but the next
just
line
go up a little
from
bit.
the first cupboard you just.
There's two cupboards.
There's two
Stop
cupboards.
using that. That's why you gave me the mouse, didn't you?
Yeah. Right, go to
number 17.
16.
Oh, you've actually got three cupboards then.
No, you see, that's just the washing machine
Oh.
within the cupboard.
Because
See,
you've got
now
a
we've
different
lost the
line.
rest of the description
Okay.
of the cupboard because it's ended
There's
up in
16
over
and
there. Look,
17, yeah.
two scratches, and it's lost all the rest of that text.
So once you put the brackets in, it basically moved it over.
It presumes that's where your line ends, your condition starts.
And it's lost the rest of the
So it's basically
description.
removed almost the whole of your cupboard and onto condition.
Well, no,
Okay.
it's gone.
No,
The text is
it's
gone.
basically removed it's basically gone up to the first set and it's gone get all that and it's just chopped the rest of it off.
Okay.
So yeah, but separate lines for. But you can see it. That's a nice thing. You can see it. It's obvious that it's happened.
And it only happened in the first week, maybe a week later, and then if you go on holiday for a week and come back, then that week as well.
But you can go back, can't you?
So but if you click on generate report items, because that once you've generated your report items, the text file is collapsed and hidden because you presume you don't want to look at it anymore. But if you need to redo it, then you press on that and it pops it down.
So if we go down to cupboard now,
so
that cupboard. Now if you move that first. On the first line, chipped to inner and outer edges.
Yeah, so I just want to do that, right? Oh.
No. See, what you need to do is move this bit here to there.
Yeah. Paste it to the bottom.
Right, and we Control X that. If you just, you've got the keyboard there.
I'm in control.
Right. So that's lost that bracket altogether.
Yeah.
And we've got another one there, haven't we? So what we're doing is we're actually moving that to the end. So where the brackets start again here, some stain is we can put it into there.
Yeah.
Control V.
So basically, all your issues need to be at the bottom in there.
Yeah. So then backspace that one. Okay. So then. Oh, we've got another one there, look.
Yeah.
Control X. And then we'll put that in at the end.
The whole time.
That's because they worked with words on these reports before Ian came into it.
Yeah.
Control V.
Control V.
They learned all the little shortcuts.
I use Control V and this Control
A. I use.
Yeah, to get copy of
that.
Yeah. So, we've got two brackets at the end there. Go on, just get rid of one of those brackets. Right, so now that's a complete text string, yeah? Phone post, one single light, blah, 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 blah. Chip to inner shelf. Centre of door. Oh, look.
Oh, yeah.
Comma
there or not? On comma after that one.
Can do. So that's now correct. But you could actually, by clicking on there and doing new line, create a new number.
Right, okay.
But at the moment, we don't want to do that because we want all the things to occur at the end.
So you want me to get off that line?
Yeah, get rid of it, yeah. So now, if we go back again.
And what I'll do is I'll go. So that remove and restart numbering should be ticked already, but that's what that's going to do.
When we're doing updates, because that will remove the old numbering and put new numbering in.
But you can do that at the end. You don't have to do that at the beginning, can you? If you forget, you can click on it at the end and it will do it. Well, so.
Yeah, it should be by default.
Actually, she probably wants some food. I'm going to go and feed her. Sorry. Carry on. Would anyone like a drink? Cup of tea, coffee, hot drink?
Another cold drink.
I'm fine, thank you.
No, I'm good, thank
Sure.
you. Yeah.
You went for your mummy. What would you like? You can either have a Pepsi Max or a squash or a Fanta. Pepsi Max.
I love a Pepsi Max.
What are you doing?
You think there's anything to do?
Maybe fall asleep on my
laptop. That marketing is something. Pepsi Max style.
Yeah.
That wasn't there when I said that.
No, probably not. Right.
You can see on this one, it said, because I've got items already, it says, are you sure you want to reprocess? Because it knows you've processed it, so it's just giving you a little, trying to save you from yourself in case you didn't mean to do it.
But if you do separate lines within the cupboard, then it will give each line a different number.
Okay. And you can put a bracket at the end of each line, yeah?
Then you can do a bracket
Yeah.
at the end of each line.
Yeah, so it just gives it this either, you know, spell either there. So there's what it's, because I've said remove and restart numbering, it might have just, if there's a few numbers it couldn't quite work out if they were numbers or not, it might have just warn you, and it's generally not anything to, but it's basically saying could not remove item references not present, and it's something about a built-in cupboard. In other words, there's something down there that it thinks might be you've asked it to remove numbers and it said it can't so you maybe just have a little check over that. But generally, these little warnings are warnings. They're not necessarily anything to worry about unless you've got 5 pages of them. But hopefully that looks.
So now, if you look at the built-in cupboard, now go back up.
Built-in cupboard. Yeah.
So there, now we've got that built-in cupboard 16. If you click on extend that one, we've now got all the text for the cupboard in there, and we've got all the delaps in there.
Yeah.
So when you've done that, I mean, you can at this point and at any point you can press the preview button just to have a little preview. This is before we've done the images. But if you just press this preview report button, it will come up and basically it's broken into the front cover and the main report and the footer. But you only really care about the front cover of the main report. Main report in most cases, front cover just before you go, and that's just going to give you this is what the report looks like.
I find this really useful. This is where I found what the brackets was doing. So I looked at this and went, oh, that's wrong.
Yeah.
This is an update.
Yeah.
But that isn't an update template. Is it, what job type is this? You booked an inventory and check-in.
Mm-hmm.
The inventory and check-in will have 2 report files generated. So one inventory and one check-in.
Yeah.
So this
check-in is just a form that we upload.
Yeah. So this is a good point. So when I just press preview here, main report,
there's nothing there.
It's nothing. Just with a scan check-in form.
Oh, so it's looking for the check-in.
Yeah.
It's obviously defaulted
so the default
for
one
the
is the
check-in
check-in.
rather than the inventory.
So you just need to change it to inventory and then hit preview. Whoop. And then that's got all of my summary reference, standing condition.
Services, product keys.
You see that it's gone red from no response.
Yeah.
And that thing. These can go, washing machine, but now missing's not working. But then you go hallway, and then you've got your header and your line references and your condition.
Built-in cupboard 1. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's by looking at this. That's where I immediately went, oh, that's not right.
Okay.
Yeah, this will scrolling through this will highlight any problems, and it's good to do this before you've uploaded the images, because once you upload 300 images, this runs on a long time, and you probably get fed up of scrolling.
So the images, when we put them in, they're under each room, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all just thrown in at the bottom.
Right.
No.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah. So just go and look at them.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling down.
Trying to do a checkout
And then
and
go
you have
back
to scroll
to
to the
the
end.
page, yeah.
You can imagine my checkouts with Travis's.
Lindsay did one today.
Aren't they just horrible?
I've never known somebody manage to do.
Are these the Windsor, that Windsor bloke?
Type half a page of text describing the letterbox.
That's all.
Yes. The door frame, seriously, there'll be 10 lines on the door frame.
Oh, he's
And
unbelievable.
you're like, it's either
It doesn't
black,
even use a different colour either. It's all
Yeah.
black. So I'm like, I
Even
can't
in
even
the
start
brackets.
from.
Not even in brackets, it's blue. It's
We're
just
in-
all
we're in
black.
black.
And honestly, I mean, the front door was an
5
A4
hours
page.
to
An
do
A4
checkouts.
page describing the front door. We do it 3 lines.
Honestly, he only ever did one
Can't have
report
too
a
much
day.
information.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's taken
why.
3 days to upload it and generate it.
Wow.
Awful.
Wow.
5 hours in one property just to do a checkout.
Really?
Yeah, that's how long it took me to do.
Yeah, his reports were like 3. They used to ring me up saying it's 3 weeks behind so far. Check out. You're like,
Awful.
I don't know if anyone's got munchies. I just realised what the time was. Help yourself.
Oh, it's 20 to 7. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
7:25 is full.
Get mine.
But we'll know 7:25 is that full. So, thank you very much.
So now we've got that sorted. It's doing our images.
Yep. So you move on to the images tab after report items. We're on to images. Now so there's nothing there because we haven't added anything. You go to the upload images box. You tick that, and it drops down. and it lists out. So for each property type, there will be a set number of things that are always present, like keys, meter read images, hazard detectors, all those types of things. You'll see them first. You've got two options. You press select, and
on the desktop there's a folder.
It's not under here, is it? Not this picture.
No.
So it's on the desktop.
I'll go to desktop there.
Okay. Oh, right.
Desktop right at the top.
So desktop.
And then there's a little, keep going down, there's a little folder somewhere. There you are, 1002.
This one. Okay, so I've just pressed select, and I'm going to take that as the front cover image, and it goes in there, and you see it goes green when it's done.
Does that mean when it's sent off and it's finalised?
It means it's up. It means it's uploaded.
Oh right, okay.
If you've done it by mistake, you hit that remove, and you can take it off.
Okay.
You can select. You wouldn't have more than one report cover, but you can select it, and we've got a meter read. These are like meter readings.
Yeah, three.
So you
meters
can actually do like 1, 2, 3. You know your shortcut keys for multiple selection and stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's
so you can do that, and it will do all three of them. You can also where's desktop?
Right at the top.
Where they always leave it. You could also, if you want to get sort of the screens side by side with each other, you can.
Keys, you can just drag and drop.
Yeah. So where's the key? So there's only one. Yeah. So you can drag and drop them onto where it says select. You can drop that, and you can keep going with that one. So. If I go down, I start to get your headers are always all be in uppercase, so then we've got our hallway, bathroom, all that type of thing. So if I want, this is like bathroom.
Keep going.
That bathroom?
Yeah, nice.
All of them.
Keep
going up.
So this
keep going up.
Down.
Down.
That it?
Sideways.
So if I hold shift and then just drop that onto bathroom, I can do that, and then I can carry on with my life while I go and grab other ones. Yeah. So you could. So if you like some people have been known to have 950 images, you can like drag a bunch, walk off, make a cup of tea.
Not anymore. We put a stop to that.
So you can upload more than one room at a time.
Yeah, you can just dump everything on it. You can go through one by one. You can drag and drop it, and this works well with a big screen, preferably 2 screens that you can have things side by side. So as Mark's got there, that works nicely. Or a really massive screen at high resolution that you probably won't be able to see the text on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you're done, you don't knock over your Pepsi Max and destroy 3 computers in one go. So yeah, you can either press that save button at the bottom, but there's also it depends on which one's closest. There's an upload one at the top. So
there's also rotating or whatever.
Yeah.
See, this has got ticked. I've already rotated mine, so you want to untick that.
It should auto detect it, or does it not? Or does that fail? So it should auto detect.
Find out.
So if you've rotated your images and your cameras are reliable, because sometimes different cameras, the window you look at it on your machine, it looks like it's rotated and it isn't, and then it's not until it hits the server and it loses the information about the rotation. But so if you leave that ticked with auto detect, it will mean it's slightly slower upload, but it should work out if your image needs to be rotated or not. Doesn't always work, but if you're confident that you've uploaded it, you've rotated it yourself, then you can just untick it and
I've actually I have physically rotated those. So.
Yeah, so if you haven't, then you leave that ticked. It should be
on my machine at the moment. I have to put mine through optimised.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to now.
Images.
Good, because I have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Only I didn't have to do it. I did all mine manually. So.
What?
the first camera that's ever done that before, so...
The system...
My old camera did it.
The system will never spit out the image as you put it on it.
Right.
So if you upload you'll be there all night, but if all your photos were 2 megabytes big and you uploaded 100 of those, then when the system spits out the PDF, it will have resized it to 800 by 600 and compressed it. So so the final report won't be what, because I'll be put out of business then by all the download bandwidth bills I get when people but it's if you're in the habit of uploading small things in the first place, that's a good habit to be in. It will speed up things like if you don't, then the system will do it.
It will do it, okay.
What sometimes happens is that it could just take the system long. So if you've uploaded stuff that 400 images and they all need to be resized and compressed, that generation process will take longer than if they were in the right size to start with. But the reporting generation is done in a queuing system, so you press approve and it just says thank you very much, and then you get an email back later when it's finished it. But you don't have to do anything. It just for your comfort that when you press the button that says check back later, we'll let you know.
How later?
How late? It processes the queue every 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it'll be a maximum.
I don't want to be sitting waiting hours for something to generate.
You wouldn't have to do anything once it's generated anyway, because it's already emailed it to the client, it sent it to the tenant. It's all done.
And you've viewed it anyway in the preview report.
Yeah. So you
check it on there.
To know that these things have actually been done and I've completed what I'm supposed to have done.
So you'll get an email that says the report that you just submitted has been processed, which will be a maximum of 10 minutes later, because obviously if you did it 1 minute after it just done the queue, it'll be 9 minutes. If you did it 30 seconds before, it might be 30 seconds.
Right, okay.
Something I'm working on is making these things generate quicker. Some of the big ones can take a few minutes to generate.
Which still isn't too bad.
It might be if we steal all of the other very smart clients, it might just be. But then I can just add more processing power to the computers and make them go quicker. More people to pay for the computers.
I think, as we've always said, keep your cameras on VGA.
Yeah, which I don't, you see, because I resize.
You resize your manually anyway, don't you? But that's because your camera doesn't have a VGA setting.
It does have a VGA setting.
Do it?
Yeah, I just find the photographs quite dull and blurry.
See, what you can do on this as well is if you ever get, because Scott's images are all 1-2 megabytes a piece.
Right.
They get generated into Word, which is horrible, but when he goes full online, there's an option in your templates which you can say the actual pictures that are in the PDF, make them links, and then you can click a link to the full-size picture.
Yeah.
So if anyone ever did get complaints that I can't make out this, it is a feature that can be turned on. It just means that the images are sort of sat there on the server, and they're not. No one's going to find them, but they're not really secure in their own right. But the reports are secure in their own right. If that makes sense. Makes sense. It sounds like a Turkish plumber there.
That's what I'll resize them in my software that I have anyway that I use.
Okay.
So what size are they ending up? What size are they ending up?
They're between 3 and 4 meg. So I resize them and they end up being about 10, 15 kb.
That is resized.
Yeah.
So when you've uploaded the images, and if you needed some more to upload, you could just press upload again, and you can carry on and add them. And even if you add the same file twice, it will make a copy. It'll call the file copy of on the server, so you don't overwrite things. Just in case you've got two separate individual images that they're both called exactly the same thing on your disk but are in different folders, the system should tolerate that. So it shows them like this, and it does it a section at a time, because otherwise you'd have Mark was finding it was those 500, and if you actually wanted to resize any of them or change the names around, it was really slow waiting for it.
So refresh the whole 300 photographs. And
so what it does is it will come up like this, and then you can select the sections to go through. So you can just, you can say, I just want to look at what's in the hallway. I just want to look at those images. Or you can just press next section and it will go through to meter read images. They should start to download. Don't look like they are. Why not? Oh, they are. it just took a little bit of time. But yeah, you can sort of tab through.
And also, you can see the comments box down there, notes, so you can add if there's any comments you want to add.
So yeah, so if you wanted to, you could add a comment next to this and press the save button at the bottom. And if you thought, people don't like having me to read images, this one needs to go there, you can hold that down and you can drag that over to there, say, and it will
read.
Okay, yeah, because I like to have my meters in a particular order.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's not.
My electric and my gas is always electric, gas, and then the water. I don't know why. I just think because the electric's more important than all the others.
Tracy.
Every property has got an electric meter in it.
So so you could do that. If for some reason that was in the wrong section, so it isn't a meter read image, it's actually, a bathroom component. You can just change that and press save, and it'll actually move that into an image into a completely different section. Hopefully you get that right on the way up.
Yeah.
So you go through there. So where are we? Nothing in there. Nothing in there. The scan checkout form, you just upload, not an image, the PDF, and it will automatically turn the PDF into an image. Okay. So you don't have to do that if you're doing that already before you upload.
No, ours just uploads the PDF and that.
Yeah.
So I must sort yours out, Jamie.
Yeah.
You've got a tablet, haven't you? That you can take out with you.
Yeah, I do.
What did we do images of?
Bathroom, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the hallway was in there, I think. The bedroom.
Yeah, so
not that it matters, but.
If I put in in that image there, this is.
So you could just put ceiling for argument's sake.
Something. Yeah, this is something. Here we go. What? THG. This is something, and I can. Oh, also, if they're wrong, if that was the wrong rotation, you can hit rotate, and then when you press save, it will rotate it. Remove as well, which.
If you don't want it, it'll take it out.
Yeah. And if you want to get rid of the whole thing, there's a little mark section for deletion, and all that does is tick the whole lot.
So if you put the wrong room in there, you could mark for deletion, delete them, and then put them in again.
Yeah, and then press save, and remove them.
And likewise, if 19 out of 20 you want removed, you could press mark for deletion and tick all of them, and then untick the one you didn't want to remove. So you can hopefully reduce the number of times you have to click to correct a mistake. But of course, you won't make any mistakes, will you? So, a whole load of bathrooms. So when you're done, you just press save. It'll ask if you're sure.
So do you have to do? If I deleted all of those, would I have to do save images?
Yeah.
And then it would delete them.
Click
and then
save basically is like apply my changes. And if you you get yourself in a mess and you're like, oh god, then just back out the page and then come back to it and it'll all reset.
When you go to preview report.
Yeah, so now if I go back to my preview, so we're starting to, services, see them all, blah, two of these. So was this the bathroom, was it?
Yeah.
So this is something, so you see that down there. We can make all that bigger, smaller. If you comment,
you can read it. That's fine.
Yeah, I think the more you comment, if you're people who comment regularly, you probably want the comments to be bigger. If it's very occasionally, you probably want, because there's a balance to be had between the size of the image and the size of the comment. And if the comment's always blank, you probably want more space for images.
That's fine for us.
So right, that's good.
We haven't got to read it, have we?
No.
Okay, let's close that one. The only this attachments thing, I don't know if this is relevant to you guys or not, but when agents book, sometimes they can upload attachments.
Notes we do get that.
Previous reports.
And cleaning receipts and things like that.
Yeah, if you want any of the stuff they've uploaded to come out, you could come out on the final report. You can change it. The type must be client supplied, and then you just download it and look at it. But you can change the type to merge, and if you do that, it means that when it generates the PDF, it'll actually stick those files on the end of it, so it'll bunch it. So if they uploaded a load of PDFs of cleaning receipts or images, then you could just change their type to merge, and then it will merge.
You don't really get it with inventories, do we? You don't really end up adding anything.
Quite nice occasionally send cleaning receipts for inventories, but I don't normally attach them.
We don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it will stay on file. It's there, and
What one was that one again?
That's an attachments tab.
Oh, that's right.
And when agents book or clients, all them, that's where you'll see that stuff.
I think I've occasionally had a receipt for a new mattress that the landlord wanted in there, or, you know.
There's a paper clip on the home. When you're looking at the calendar, there's a paper clip, and you can click that and see them from the calendar as well. You don't have to be in here to find that stuff.
Yeah. And I guess we can do the same. So if we wanted to attach some notes or something, we can do the same.
Yes.
On the front.
Yeah. Yes. Because you can upload a document here if you want. Look, see, you can select a file, and you can upload something, and you can mark it. Does you want the client to be able to see it? So probably not. Do you want it internal only, just for you, or do you want it to be merged with the final report?
Oh, okay.
So you've got those. You've got those options, but they shouldn't really need to do that, I don't think. So.
Then paperless portal.
Yeah. So this is probably where the biggest difference is with, because like this system was built to hopefully be able to sell to all sorts of different industries, which is why some of these things look quite generic. The idea of sending the report to the tenant to be approved, the system opens up what I called at the time a portal where you can log in, download your document, make comments, and press a sign-off button. So anywhere you see the term paperless portal, it's to do with that process. You don't need to worry about that tab because it'll be blank at the moment because nothing's happened because the report's you've not sent the report out yet. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're not sure whether or not this report will go to the tenant, if you put your mouse over approve report, it says on clicking approval, report will be sent to the tenant. So it will tell you if that's going to happen. If it's a job type that doesn't happen, it will just go complete and it gets sent to the client.
Right.
So like ours will be set up so the checkouts don't go to the tenant.
Right, they go directly to the agent.
Just go to the agent will then download it, probably attach it to a covering letter about their deposit and what they're going to get back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't send the inventory either, the agent sends the inventory.
No, we send the inventory. That's the way it activates the portal.
How quickly does it go? You know, like if you send it and then you think, I should do that, and go back into it and delete it.
Oh, you won't be able to get until if you've clicked approve, it's in the queue. You can't change it, you can't touch it because obviously what you clicked approve on would no longer be valid if you then go and interfere with it. We've got maximum of 10 minutes of video. So.
Right. And it might not even be 10 minutes, depending on where it is.
No, it could. But you can. It's probably not worth going.
The report though once it's created.
It's probably not worth going through all of those how to do in the what if scenarios. Just know that if it's gone off to the tenant, and for whatever reason the report's wrong, you can go back in and you can regenerate that report and change the one off and upload it and send it back. So you can always go back to pending. If the tenant was on holiday and they need the portal and the portal's closed down and they want some more time.
So we can extend it.
Can you do that? Yeah. Reopen it, resend the invite. If the email address is wrong, the phone number is wrong. There's ways to sort that out, which I could tell you now, and you go, "Oh my god!" So it's better to just wait until that happens and say, "I've done this."
Yeah.
And then what happens is the way I tend to work is I tend to, if you the first time you get something, I'll show you how to do it and probably send the mail around saying this has just happened. This is what you do. If it can't be described in a paragraph, I do a little video and there's like a help menu up there with different help videos in them, and I'll probably put you a separate section up there, and you can go into that, and you can review what somebody else has done, perhaps, or if I'm on holiday, then I can go look at this video rather than listen to me. Yeah, so we're ready to press approve. I've just checked the details of the tenant. Go to me. So hopefully this will work, right? Because should generate me. Oh, we haven't got a check-in form, have we? That doesn't matter, does it? We'll leave that. No. But hopefully this is literally going to test it right at the extreme for the first demo in front of everybody. We're going to check one that's supposed to generate 2 documents.
No pressure.
Yeah. Approve report. And it will say task was successfully marked as pending. So look, this task is locked due to action approvable, blah blah blah. Task will unlock again, and it tells you when.
So that's waiting to go through, and then when it goes through, it will come and tell you that it's gone.
Yeah, and I think he's going to do it until 10 past, because I think we just
missed it.
I can probably push it through actually.
What's the check again for?
Oh yeah, because this is not gonna. If you press check again, it's gonna refresh the page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I go back to the home page, and
I'll be sat on that refresh button, you know that. Because I won't call the next day saying you haven't uploaded that report.
There is if you go task.
With the refresh button. It's not working.
Oh, tasks, yeah.
Task check report queue. Go in here and it should show you. And if there's an error on it, it will it'll say you're having a problem. But sometimes because it's a server, something can go wrong. It can restart. There might be an error, and it'll just retry the next time and keep retrying. But yeah, you can actually filter it by everybody. Oh, yeah. You can even show the things that have done in the past. So look, there's all the things we've been testing, and it'll tell you what it did. So approve invoice portal basically means. Do you want the system to raise your invoices when it does the approval? Do you want to do that yourself?
No, I do the invoicing weekly.
Turn that off then. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise you have a whole load of invoices sat there.
If you remember the conversation that like Hasland want all their checkouts in one in one invoice, and then they want updates and inventories. It's 2 different departments.
That's Hasland.
Yeah.
It's really an invoice, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had this was at Fisher's, a company owned just something like £20,000, and they wouldn't pay their invoice until we sent them a complete ledger of their account going back 6 years. And it just happened to be a cut-off point where we torched a load of the data when we moved our system forward, and I had to stitch 2 systems back together again. It's like, you've asked the money, pay it. What do you want to ledger? That's your problem.
It sounds to me as they lost some information somewhere.
It's the stalling, that's what they do. When you're in the wrong, make the other person feel like they're in the wrong, and it kind of deflects it from you for a bit.
Yeah.
Trying to send a robot vacuum cleaner back at the moment. You've got 28 days. Not a vacuum cleaner, it's a mop. And then they're trying to stall for the 28 days. They're like, we send you the DHL label, and you chase it all later, and it doesn't turn up. And you're like, but what they don't realise is we've got the email trail of it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you can tell you're trying to send it back, you're
the one that stopped
being awkward. So
everyone has to put that though, isn't it? He's missing. That's on the notes. Yeah, and then you just highlight it in red. Those file notes we highlight in red anyway, don't we? Because they're notes for a reason.
Oh, it's amazing. No, just don't read it. You've got kings who don't care anyway. Literally, we could send them anything.
Yeah, like,
we could send them anything, and they wouldn't make any
difference. It's Thomas Flatman's though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you still use that? When was that old one you used to have? Samuel James?
Oh no, I gave up. They were disasters. They were just a disaster.
But Kings are just as bad. So.
Yeah, no, Kings are.
Yeah, but Samuel James, we had more abort fees than we did jobs.
Yeah, but Samuel James did not know where their keys were kept, where they were. And you'd go there and they'd be having a meeting upstairs and no one would be answering the door.
Yeah.
No, they'd lock the door.
They wouldn't answer.
I was locked out there a few times.
Yeah.
Just waiting there. Like.
Yeah, what are we doing now?
They ring you at home and say, have you picked up the keys of so-and-so? You're like, no, I'm just not booked for another 2 days, so I won't pick them up till tomorrow. Oh, it's just we can't find them. Right?
No, I haven't got them.
I haven't got them.
I went there once, right, nobody was there. So I managed to get hold of someone. Oh, if you go to the property, the plumber or whatever's there, he'll give you the keys. Get to the property, no plumber, no whatever. I rang that and said, I'm not doing it. You'll have to book it in for another day. I'm sorry.
I went into their property once, opened the door straight into the lounge, and the bedroom was just off of there, and I could see a figure of a man. I turned around, and their maintenance guy was in there working on the shower. I nearly crapped my pants because they didn't tell me somebody was in there working. You turn out there's a bloke in the property. Yeah. There's also moving in as well. Taking it out.
Charlotte did the checkout in a brothel this week.
Did you?
Was it a Hewitt? Was it a Hewitt brothel or a...
No, you did the check-in. It was in Tanfield.
What were they obviously weren't working.
Yeah, but they didn't know. They said, I'm sure there won't be anyone there, but they haven't done the keys. I was like, great. So there could be somebody in there.
What did it smell like? I know it's strange when you have these strange questions.
I'll
you
be
know.
honest.
Was it clean?
It was pure filth. It was. There was like condom wrappers under the beds. There was like stuff all over the bed. It was literally.
Oh,
I
would
literally
say
walked
no.
around
get it cleaned done.
and they put red perspex over the bathroom Lux window, so that when it was down, the whole bathroom was red.
Oh my god.
I mean, whether that was because when it was open when I turned up, whether it's like, oh, we're in.
Shut. Red lights on.
Apparently they have. I read a book. You know the guy did Fight Club, and he was Fight Club. I read one of his books. He was talking about how the reason why they have blue and red lights in vicey style places. The blue lights hide varicose veins, and the red lights hide stretch marks.
Is that right?
Is that right?
Really?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Actually, I
God.
knew the blue stuff because when I was a facilities manager, they used to put blue lights into the public
Stop
toilets.
people fighting the veins.
Because,
Yeah,
exactly, so people couldn't shoot up in the
I didn't know
toilets.
that.
to do it outside in the bathroom bit instead.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they'd always find a way, so,
Yeah. Right, so
I didn't know that. You learn something new every day, don't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
Right.
Horrible.
So blue is varicose veins and red is
stretch marks.
Stretch marks.
So there you go.
The red just comes across as seedy, doesn't it? So, yeah.
I need
Just
red
I'm just going up to Amazon. Like Bob.
Yeah, I hope I don't get another one.
So it was like
I had
a
a
flat.
room one last
It was a two bedroom flat.
sex toys in the drawer.
Stop putting them
I
in.
had so many of those.
I
now.
worked-
Fine, that doesn't bother me, but don't leave them.
I worked for a
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
before Live, and one of their clerks got scabies
No.
on the properties.
They
For
do
their
running
beds-
around in their
beds.
beds, though.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, surely he must have been like lying on it.
To take a lie.
Yeah.
No, but apparently in between his fingers.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't touch them.
Yeah, but you see, I don't do. I've actually got, you know, those blue plastic, and I actually will go like that because I will not touch things.
No.
I don't move anything.
I'm very good at opening loose from my feet now.
hands.
Loose
Yeah,
things.
I do.
It's weird,
Yeah, I know.
It's horrible, isn't it? What we have to go through.
Is that happening now, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We might need shops soon, might we, before we can go into any property.
right, so just looking at Mark's email, order for a load of red lights. Yeah, so that was the information for inventory and check-in. So that was that post-visit button that we pressed. Yeah, so that was the end result of that, because Mark set up as the agent. That's why he got that copy. Then obviously,
So that's just like our complete that we do.
yeah, that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the
Okay.
same. So there is the message from Mark that says, "Follow me." Doesn't say that. It says your reports for job 36 blah 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 have been processed. And this is this is a message. If your information only, please do not respond. The client gets a copy of the email that's gone to the tenant. So
Right.
they know that the tenant has now got a copy. That should stop the client logging in and pressing forward to tenant and then sending the tenant another copy, which confuses the tenant.
Right.
Which is what phase lot do. They see a copy of this, or they actually try and finalise it themselves, which is why it's got that big. This is messages for your information only at the top, because the agent's not supposed to respond on that. So hopefully that's now idiot proof, and it won't happen. But that's
guarantee that.
You know.
Because they don't read.
Fraser says, I can't remember it. Some IT people once said, you can't make an idiot-proof system. All you can do is make a better idiot. But
they're just going to say that you can access it here and go. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. They won't read that big. This message is because and there's a user interface issue there. Look, because you've got Outlook like that. That says this message is for you, not for your information.
No.
So it says, it's for me. And then you go. And
then you read
and then I missed
inventory
that
report, date, access here, bang.
They'll just see it blue and underlined. You can access it.
Yeah. They'll read. We prepared inventory report and access here, bang.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Maybe prepare them. It won't let them log in anyway. It will throw a wobbly because it won't be from the right email address.
And we'll say read the top of the page.
It doesn't have.
And you'll get a phone call.
Those great big capitals.
Come down to the camera.
Read the capitals.
Go to the camera and download it like you did before.
Wow. Okay, so that's that bit. If I so let
It'll
me
only be
stop.
hassles you get issues with anyway. So
Oh, the rest won't bother.
no.
So I'll stop sharing this.
So we should be able to view our report now.
Yes.
From the calendar.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, it's talking.
So.
In the top corner. On the left.
So hang on, where's my blue jeans gone? But let's share this screen now. Wow, what's happening? To share this screen, I'm going to share the whole screen. It's cool. And so I put myself down as the tenant. That's what they get. Please respond. So hopefully that tells them that they should respond. And they get that. It was open for your inventory report, blah, blah, blah. We prepared this. Now, all they need to do is click that. It says you have until 30th of 7th to blah, blah, blah. Here's a username and password. It's like the email address. That link means that it just should open up just like that. Right?
And
so
it
it's
puts
already
in the
pre-filled
username and it
username
puts in the password for them.
The reason why it has a password is so you could change that password later and lock them out, because you shouldn't have links all over the internet that are freely available to everyone that's got tenant personal identifiable information in and all that type of thing. So although that if they didn't have that email, they wouldn't know what that password was, but then that password could be changed later on and etc. So I'm going to put that into Firefox, where I don't think I've ever browsed this site before.
I think I'm definitely going to have it.
Yeah, you want to.
For a couple of hours, because I don't want to just.
No, I'm gonna do it every night.
So there's a if you
To make sure.
I'll give you my address. I'll give my address is. I'll send you what my address is, and the client my solution in this is every system's got that client in. You can all use that as dummy stuff, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But so that's what the tenant sees, and they should just be able to press login, and it's not showing up. Okay, hold on.
So this is from a tenant point of view.
This is what the tenant sees.
I just want to.
So all we do is press the approve button, and then that's
Yeah,
all
you
it's
don't have to
done.
worry about any of this. This is just
I
really
said,
for
we don't
information.
see what
to show
happens when
you.
the tenant gets the report
Yeah.
now, do we?
No.
Right, I'm just showing you this you shouldn't care really, but let me just.
The amount of things I get from agents saying, "Oh, can you add these pictures to the report, please? They've been emailed to us from the tenant." No.
No.
The tenant has received instructions of how to do it.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
Oh, it's only 6 weeks since they moved in.
Yeah, the kings.
Unbelievable. I do wonder why some of the additional photographs at the bottom are added in sort of a few weeks later when you tell them they've only got 7 days to do it.
I mean,
Trying to get rid of the.
Okay.
it's doing, but not
Yeah.
They forget to book things in and ring up last minute, don't they?
I refuse. I literally say, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're just.
Unless the agent turns around to me and says, well, it's genuine, we know they've been out of the country on business for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, they just forget.
Fine.
Plain forget.
Unorganised.
Or something happens, they break something, and then they want to add it in, sending that it was already broken.
That it was already, yeah, and exactly, that's why they should not be allowed to add photographs in
Yeah.
after the 7 days.
No.
That's it, done.
Mm.
Because our spiel we give them as well is you get 7 days with that
You've
report.
got 7 days.
Not 6
Mm.
weeks with that report.
No.
Oh,
With
so
7
all
days
the-
to prove
all
it,
the
after
information
which
is details
it's
in
finalised.
it as well.
Yeah.
You've broken it, Dave.
I'm just trying to. There's
The
a.
problem is, at this time of year,
It's not broken, just not
some of
working.
the
No,
check-ins that we do with students that are not in the country and don't
Yeah.
move into.
They don't go until September or
Yeah.
something, do they?
I'm just trying to get.
Yeah, no, that's true, yeah. I mean, I do have some that say to me, oh, well, you know, I'm not moving in for another 2 weeks, so if I've only got 7 days to report, I would say, well, sorry, it's an electronic system, it's the way it works.
Take
You know, your
it.
tenancy starts today, so effectively, you know, if you get your report today or tomorrow, you need to come back in here and you need to check through it. That's what you need to do. No, it's normally the parents that are with them. If they've got parents with them, they'll go, oh, well, you know, he's not going to be here for another month,
Mm.
right?
So we've got a load of them at the moment, haven't we?
The
Where
thing is,
Yeah.
it's also,
students who have checked out
you
and
don't
students
know
that are
how
checking in but
truthful
aren't in
they
the country.
are.
Exactly, you don't know them from Adam, so
No.
so yeah, I just tell them how the system works, and it's 7 days from the date you receive the report.
What I was doing is I was just getting rid of. So
But that's basically the email that the tenant is going to get.
yeah, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the tour to come up. Yes. So yeah, so when the tenant logs in, the first
You see the
time.
arms on the picture at the bottom.
Oh dear. So the first time they log in, because it is confusing. I'm working on a new version of this because there's a lot of people come up with all sorts of silly excuses. First phase is to make it more stable because some people press upload an image and then they don't wait for it to finish and then they press back because they're getting angry and then they end up emailing 15 images over to the agent. And so it will get better, but what effectively happens is it says that clicking this link will show more information about what file. Oh, hang on, I've got to go back to the beginning. Sorry, it won't go there. It's because I've been on here before, because it remembers if you've been, so if the same tenant comes back to the site again, it won't show them.
Starts at the same
Yeah,
point.
it won't show them that. So let's just. Okay, so that will be it. This is a public portal for your recent property report. You can use this area to view, save, post comments, submit pictures, blah blah blah, and then you can go and hopefully they don't just press end tour and then tell you that they don't know why. Go up there. So yeah, so it shows you the documents are there. So basically, it's telling them to download the document. It's in PDF format. Then it says this is the deadline that you'll close on, and then it goes over there and says here are the comments that you or other relevant parties, because you can have, if need be, the landlord could log into this. But I've heard that that's a very bad thing to allow to happen.
No.
But there are some people who want it. So yeah, and then
So
it's-
it basically guides them step by step through how to add comments.
yeah, it should be quite idiot-proof, but it.
Well, you know what? There are some idiots out there who still think they can email us directly.
And the thing is, when Scott first went live with this, he didn't do any of this helpful stuff, and like there were a few problems, but then it just calmed down, and it was just went, yeah. But I don't know if that says something about tenants in Cambridge versus tenants in. Most of the problems are coming out of East London at the moment, but I think it's probably not English-speaking people in there.
I'm afraid we've got a lot of them.
So you can add a comment here, and then it says select the item, so they're supposed to choose which one,
right,
and those
reference item.
numbers match up directly with the reference numbers in the report, and it only shows the numbers that are in the report. So, because you're using Report Builder, it knows how many references there are. So all the 9,000s would be in there, for instance, and it just says if it doesn't relate to anything, you can just choose 0. So maybe I'll change the 0 to worry about it, and then so I'm going to put something in here. Upload image optional. So it does. You get the idea, right? And they can choose a file.
Does that have a limit on the amount of images they can put in?
No, it doesn't. And some people have uploaded, one guy originally broke the portal, said he's never going to use it again ever, because when he got up to about 800 images,
No.
it got really slow. It doesn't get slow anymore, but it still doesn't mean it's a good idea.
I had Gareth had a checkout on one of Gareth's. It was a brand new property, brand new, and the tenant added 160 photographs.
Oh. I just found
Brand new.
just
I
a
think
few
one of
additional
mine,
photographs
Yeah.
because the report doesn't go out
Well,
to
no, I
everybody.
purposely say I don't want to see. I actually turned around to him and said, I do not want to see pictures of marks on walls or floors. These are all
Yeah.
wear and tear items. They're nothing to do.
You don't get it very often.
Right.
I mean, I haven't
But if
seen
you find
that
something major that's broken
long,
or doesn't
long
work, then you can take a
But you
picture of
look
it.
at it
Yeah.
I do. I
I
understand.
make a point of telling them now.
I do.
I've got this on camera.
Yeah,
I
I do.
don't take pictures of everything.
absolutely whatever. Anyway, I just knew going to, and he put 100 and something photographs on of exactly my photos. He must
The
have
other
gone
thing,
round
the other thing worth putting in
and
there
copied
worth putting in
stuff
there
I've done
is
and
to please
going,
check
well,
the
on there,
reports
he
carefully
wasted
to make
while
sure
he did his photographs.
that the
And I
tell him
was
comment
like,
you are
you
making
are
is not
now
already covered in the
no.
report.
Yeah.
I said, I'm really
Yeah,
sorry.
because
I said, but I need to
50% of all
and
the
they also
things
wanted
that
me to
people
wait
will
while someone
upload
went and got
are already in the
paperwork,
report.
and
They
I said,
don't
no, I've got
read
other
the
things to
report.
go to. You and
That's
I
why I
are
would
leaving.
it's a
I'm
big
really
report.
sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Takes
to
But, you
do.
know,
time.
and they don't
I'm
bother.
leaving
It's
to
quicker
go
to
back
take a
to
photo of
Hasbro.
everything.
Yeah.
I've got
Read
quite
the
a
I'll
lot
bang
of
one
things
in.
to go into Hasbro and take my paperwork.
Right, so that's okay. So that's all done.
So they-
copies of mine.
They get that
I looked at
finalised.
about
So if we go back to the
report button, but I won't press that just
No,
for
I
now.
don't even look at them now when we do that.
No, I don't
It's
know. I
3 or
don't
4.
even.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
How do I stop
So all we need to do now is look at where the report is and how you send me an invoice,
Yeah. So,
which is the important bit for you.
Yes.
I have no idea how to pay anybody, unfortunately.
Right.
Coming
That's right, you
in
can
there.
learn tonight, it's fine.
so okay. Yeah, you saw that email that Mark had. This doesn't refresh automatically. This screen, so. So
You see all the black boxes now ticked.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's so that's gone into this phase now. So it's pending, and it says it's pending approval via the paperless portal.
With the tenant
You
for
know,
approval.
basically it's gone out. It would have gone. You've got little keys there, so see that item that says complete. So if it was one that didn't need that, it would have gone to
Like a
complete.
check out.
And portal open would say portal not required, because it would tell you that it didn't need it.
And we can download the report from there.
So yeah, you should. You can just grab a copy just by clicking that if you want. If you want to check the PDF, because why wouldn't you? And that has correctly given me 2 files, because this was one of the ones where we wanted 2 files, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
So
We want the inventory and
So you
check
haven't
in.
actually done anything to do with the check-in?
No, but it's done it. When we came to the thing, all we needed to do was add our PDF. So where
yeah, if you
at
look
the
up
top,
and added that scanned document
Yeah.
thing on the upload images tab, that's all you need to do.
it would then have created a
You don't
separate
do the
check-in.
whole
No,
separate-
no, it's
right,
all
okay.
just done as the one thing.
Right.
It then knows to create a separate report.
Okay.
I'm actually talking to Haslam's now.
What happens?
I'll just cancel it.
I just press that,
Yeah.
and it
Um,
will it open up my zip file?
No. Your zip file should work.
It just said you hadn't registered WinZip. Oh,
That's obviously just happened.
Yes.
I don't want to open that.
She's obsessed with bugs.
Yes.
Know what she's doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
I want to open it with
Well,
Windows.
off the car.
Windows allows you to open.
Rats.
Why is it
Lawrence has
zipped
found a
it?
place where he gets rats from.
It's,
No.
because you've got two report files, so it zipped them up into one zip file rather than downloading two individual
The
ones.
legs, the back legs and the tail are like sat on the decking.
But-
Or he'll bring back this really sweet
I
looking
wanna-
mouse.
It just looks like
And
your zip.
it would be like
stuff
coal and
needs
he'll
to-
just leave it on the decking and Barry will go out there.
You need WinRAR or something different because it looks like it's asking you to register WinZip now.
In the air and,
Try that one.
yeah,
There's two there.
weird.
Win-
Robin
WinZip
was Robin in
Express.
the other day.
That's zip and share.
Forrest did, but it's punched. No, it's
And-
alive. And because we've just fitted a new dishwasher, so the kick panel doesn't fit
No.
properly now,
That's
and
blue
it's come
look.
down and it shot underneath.
Oh
our
look, go
kitchen
across and you can
units.
open it on the right.
We locked both cats in the bottom
Okay.
toilet so they couldn't
Yeah.
get to it, but we had to let the cats out then to get under the kitchen units to scare the bird back out again. And it flew out. I literally caught it in my hand. And
It's
I
given you
stroked the
two.
sweetest thing. So I went out
Yeah.
and said to Ian, I said,
Okay.
here's the bird. You know it's going to die, don't you? You might as well just flush it down the loo now. I was like,
So I'll zoom out a bit.
So I literally put it over the fence, our next door neighbour's fence, and I felt it sort of fly off, so it's fine.
Alright, so that's the inventory and the checkout is downloaded at the same time.
Yeah, so
Check
there you
in,
go.
sorry.
Check in.
He's a proper murderer.
But that won't save to our computer then.
That's that won't save to your computer. That's just there if you press the download from the calendar.
And he let it
Oh,
loose
okay.
in
If you want to have a look at it,
Right,
then you can.
but it'll just go once
Yeah,
it's
it's
once
gone.
I've attached them.
Yeah. The moment on that tab across the top,
What are they
it said approved document.
Yeah.
The moment you click
I
that,
love it when they
off it
Yeah,
goes.
that one.
And it's,
in with
so
two
you have
robins
to
in the
obviously go to the inventory template, do the inventory thing.
If you're doing an inventory and
I'm sort of
checking,
proud of him.
then the only reason why you would change that template drop
I don't
down
know.
is to look at both previews to make sure you're happy
Okay.
both
But
look
you don't
sensible.
need to do that, you
No.
just leave it on inventory, add the PDF,
Yeah,
and then it will create the two.
yeah. Both when you press approve, it's going to do it. It's going to do what it's configured to do. The only these funny job types where they're combined, where you're going to get two report files at the end. You've got that template drop down, and you can choose which one you want to preview. But all you're doing is choosing what you want to
So you
preview.
just preview it,
Generation.
check it there.
And if in the future we can get the clients not to have the check-in and then just have an inventory, we can just launch, put the check-in form into the inventory
Yeah,
as a full-page scan.
exactly. Yeah.
And then we just do it. It would still be called inventory and check-in, but it would only be the one document.
Yeah.
But some cats
It seems
are
pretty
real murderers.
straightforward,
No,
I
they're
think.
not, are they?
Once you've played around with it for
Yeah,
a
I've
while.
got my like,
And if you
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, it does all the same thing,
Yeah.
it's just the buttons are in different
Awesome,
places.
isn't it, as well?
Yeah, and the architecture's hopefully
Yeah,
quite
nothing.
flexible
Just
underneath it.
looks
So
at
you've got this so this was the inventory. It puts bookmarks on it. We're going to make it so disclaimers just one click rather than all of that because it's a bit complicated. But look, you can jump through with these things, so clients can do that.
I've seen him stalking pheasants. in
There's
there,
a
and
table
he
of
used to- and I go
contents
over
as
there to
well.
call him for dinner, and he was like,
Oh, on the
stroll
right
out,
side,
yeah, he's
isn't
like
it,
a little
somewhere?
kid, he strolls out, and then this
Yeah.
little kid up here,
The table of
and he'll like
contents,
look at me
you
as if
you
he's
can
saying,
click on that.
Mum,
Yeah.
you ruined it.
That's fine, no, that's good, we can view them if we want to,
He hasn't
and
dragged it
download
yet,
them
though.
separately if
I
we
don't
want
think
to.
he can get it through the hole in the fence.
But we probably don't have to do it very often, in fairness.
Just know that that's what it does.
So we go back to the
Five-
calendar,
5 in one day is the most that he's brought back.
right,
And you think, oh,
Okay.
no
so
more presents, yeah? Chocolate.
if that was a clerk, that's now finished, that job's like all done.
Yep.
How would the clerks now invoice me? That's probably the next thing they need to do, isn't it?
Yeah. So indeed. So we it's probably worth.
Logging into, you've got a demo of clerks.
We can log in as you. What's your? Here we go. So this is the Clark site, which is what you'll log into. And when you log into that, obviously I've logged in as Mark, but I've only seen the things that Mark has done. So there's obviously his report there. I don't know if you've gone.
This, by the way, is exactly what your screen will look like. At the top,
Okay.
all the same options on the menu. Click into that. What happens? Yeah, you get in there. It's all. This is the full editor, by the way. So once it's opened up, you can actually go over to the portal tab now, and it will it will show you the things that are going on. So I click it. So you can see the comments that the people are adding. So you can have a little explore around and some dummy jobs. There's an event log which tells you everything that's happened. So all the things that have gone on.
What we've got at the moment, isn't it?
Fully.
Yeah.
And there's a copy of every email that it's sent out. So if you want to check anything, you can check it. You can check it all in here. What will probably happen is you'll want to check something. You'll ask me. I'll tell you where it is, and then.
Look at her face.
Um,
The whole neck is like 90 degrees.
Cats are like they're mad, aren't they?
The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It is, look.
Oh, wow.
Bizarre. So right, so on when we're back on here, invoicing at the top, is that our button?
Isn't it a squirrel?
So on invoicing it says
Raise Clark invoice.
raise class invoices.
Oh, okay.
So that's where.
So click on
yeah,
that.
so Jamie, you've got your own system, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you're going to be accessing this system as a.
Jamie set up as a.
As a clerk,
A
yeah.
clerk,
I need to
so-
show you something because there's only one platform, but
Right.
you need to change whose system you're looking at with a special page.
Right, okay.
So it's very easy. You'll just have an extra menu item. You just need to change over who you're looking at before you carry on.
Yeah.
And you'll want to be an admin for one and staff for the other. But we'll cover that. So,
Will everything appear on one calendar for him though?
no,
No.
it's two separate.
Oh, two separate
You
cameras.
change what you're looking at. But your jobs will come from your own.
Yeah.
By the emails you get with what relates to what, and there'll be different number sequences as well.
Right, okay.
So if you want to raise some invoices, you go to invoicing, raise Clark invoices, and it will.
It's already all done for you.
Effectively, it's telling you what the jobs are. I mean, there might be a few, because these are going back a while now, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it should show you all of the jobs that are pending or complete, that are ready to go. So where was that? That was
That's today's, isn't
one.
it?
Making
Yeah.
that noise.
That's today's.
Yeah, and it tells you what it's doing. It says using the task price plus the add-on services to calculate what's due.
So if you just wanted to invoice that one, you just tick the box, do you?
Yes, you would tick it
Tick it.
and you click raise
and then
payment.
raise payment.
If you disagree with the amount, you can change the amount that you're billing Mark from. You say like, I don't know.
That's a good one.
I don't think we should be allowing that.
I don't agree with that. That's a little bit more wrong.
I fancy a cake in the shop. And,
Your sweets are going up.
Got a parking ticket.
but
I'll have that
yeah.
one.
So if for any reason why that figure is different from the figure you're expecting, you've got some text to type in. So that's when you can
Cake.
describe just how nice that cake was. Yeah, it was and that, I mean, you don't have to worry too much about that, but that, because we've set up a few of these just to show the features to Mark, but that one said that client's paid 10%, which is why they're 236, is because it thinks that there's 10%.
Added.
Yeah, that's what I was
Lift
going to ask actually,
So
the
it-
10% add-ons.
Yeah, it does. So basically, your price, like if you, and I know very smart, there's been some fudging, isn't it, in this sort of area, but if you, in this system, you put in the price
Yeah.
that includes the client commission payment,
Yeah.
and you set up the client as what that client percentage is what the client percentage is,
Yeah.
and then it will work out what your
Work
true
out,
invoice value is, and then your clerk's
So
percentage is
what
based
appears
on
there?
that.
So say on my price list, like Blackman's is increased by 12%, for
Yeah.
example, and all the prices show an additional 12%.
Yeah, so you would make sure that on the client tab for Haslam's, in the client commission is ticked and 12 is put in there.
And then that will automatically reduce.
That will reduce the fee due to the
Clerks.
client, yeah, and it will also.
So you shouldn't have to do what you do have to do at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's
Like-
so this has actually explained it so that you should agree with it. It's basically saying the task price is this, staff commission in Mark's case is set at 100%, the client is paid 10% commission, therefore amount they pay is reduced by £22.64 to £236.35.
YouTube,
That's the math.
that does it for you automatically
Right, okay.
already, so nothing will change there.
Yeah.
But Jamie, in the past, you've always had to
work it out.
Work it out.
Got it wrong a lot of the time.
It's only the last month he's fucking worked out how to do it. It's taken 2 years.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try that one out.
I can just see him with this little bit of paper going.
Fuck. It took me a year to figure out how to do a Bolton piece.
Oh,
Yeah,
what it
it
was.
just sat in my calendar for ages. I was like, oh, okay.
So this link here will open the actual task in a new window if anything's wrong. So because that description, if you look down the price and go, yeah, that looks fine, but if you get, hang on, there's something odd here. You know, maybe someone's changed some reason changed this to an unfurnished. Are you furnished and furnished the same price?
No.
Right. So yes, if someone maybe changed the property to unfurnished and it was furnished, and you go, hang on, I was expecting to get 50 quid out of that, and it's only saying 40. You can see there that that's what it's based its prices on. If that's wrong, you can click. Oh, you can click the job link, go over here, and change anything that happened to be wrong, and then obviously save it, and then come back and refresh your page, and it will recalculate what you're due, etc. etc. So yeah, when you're happy, you press raise payments, and you don't have to do them all at once. You can do them all, and it will have a think, and it will say total of 1 payments raised, totaling £236. So you know that's done. Whoa! Wow! What have I done? I've zoomed it on 100%.
My computer does that. It's really annoying.
If you get the wrong combination of keystrokes, my Apple Mac does it as well. It zooms. You end up trying to control something, and it zooms right out. Anyway, yeah, it'll show cancelled jobs. By default, this won't show cancelled jobs, but if you raise bills off of cancelled jobs, you just need to change that to yes to show them. Because otherwise, you might find most of your views filled up with cancelled jobs.
Will aborted ones still go in there directly?
That's what aborted.
Yeah.
Yes, the job will be cancelled.
Right.
You won't see that. If it's a cancelled job, as in there's no charge and blah blah blah, then that's the right position. But if you know that there was an aborted job last week, you need to go in and you need to show the cancel one, find it, and then bill it.
Okay.
There's also a select all jobs, I think, which will tick all the boxes, which is what you want to do, right? Go and pin select all, press a button.
Yeah.
It's the squirrel making that noise.
Yeah.
It sounds like cat crying.
Have you heard of
every now and
squirrels?
again.
They make such a
Oh,
racket.
yeah.
I didn't think
Squirrel,
squirrels
yeah.
made a lot of noise. I knew foxes did.
Squirrels.
Foxes who choose to mate at like 5 in the
Was
morning.
it? Yeah, they run wild.
So that's it. It's done. Mark gets a lovely email, and he's got a big screen where he sees everything that he owes and works out how long he can stall you for.
They get it when I get it. Goes in and out that quickly. It's like
It's normally the best way, that, because then you don't feel rich for anything.
no.
My wife's
never
made sure.
long enough.
My wife's made sure I haven't felt rich for 10 years. So yeah, go to invoicing, search payments. I know weird. It's kind of a weird way I should search invoices. Oh. No, that's inventory clerk. That's the wrong one. You have to forget that. So when you jump into your search payments, because it's payments due to you and type of thing, it will allow you to do date from, date to, paid, yes, no, all. So that by default, that screen will tell you how much you're owed.
So if I pay that bill,
When you mark that as paid,
it will automatically come up as paid on
it
there.
will be marked as paid on here.
Yeah.
And therefore out of the view, but searchable. So
Yeah.